Hey ladies and gentlemen, Krzysztof the Polish Geek, and welcome to another video in the You Should Be Watching series. And this time I'm talking about another Ridley Scott historical epic, Gladiator. Because Gladiator is my favorite Ridley Scott movie right after Kingdom of Heaven. Many people hail Ridley Scott as an awesome science fiction director, and for a good reason. After all, he did Alien and Blade Runner, and both very great movies, but to me personally, I think he actually excels far better at historical epics, and that's why Kingdom of Heaven, Director Scott, is my favorite movie of his, but Gladiator is a very close second, and I'm really looking forward to Napoleon. In fact, I actually had a different thing planned for You Should Be Watching, but considering that Napoleon is coming out very soon, I decided to do Gladiator instead, partially as a way to prepare for Napoleon, because I'm really looking forward to Napoleon, and also Gladiator 2 is in the works too, and I think it's a really stupid idea. I wouldn't have any problems with Ridley Scott revisiting ancient Rome. In fact, look, he revisited the Crusades period after Kingdom of Heaven. Like, he later directed Robin Hood with Russell Crowe in the lead role, and although he did revisit medieval times and Crusades period, he specifically made the new movie its own thing. So I don't see why couldn't he do the same with ancient Rome. As I said, I'll be all for Ridley Scott doing another historical epic set in ancient Rome, but it doesn't necessarily need to be Gladiator 2. I think making it a sequel to a masterpiece will very much harm the movie. But whatever. But anyway, Gladiator is my second favorite Ridley Scott movie and one of my favorite movies in general, and it's a real huge awesome historical epic. So let's talk why Gladiator is so incredible and masterful. The story is about Maximus, the Roman general who becomes a slave, and the gladiator. His family has been murdered under the orders of the new emperor, Emperor Commodus, the successor of Marcus Aurelius. And Maximus becomes a gladiator, and he plans on avenging his wife and son. The story is so well written and well told, with really great acting and amazing script. When you watch this movie, you always get glued to your seat, and even upon rewatches, this movie never gets old for me. I always remember that this is a type of masterpiece that Hollywood is never going to do anymore. At least not anytime soon. It's just obvious how much love and passion was put into it by the Ridley Scott and the phenomenal cast and crew. Russell Crowe is doing such a phenomenal job as Maximus. When his wife and son are murdered, you can feel both rage and grief inside him. He's so good at portraying emotions on screen. The opening battle against the Germanic barbarians was completely believable and tells us very well who Maximus is. He's a good man who inspires loyalty because he's a great warrior and who's very loyal to his men and to his master. And as the general, he always leads from the front. The scene where his wife and son get murdered is still one of the saddest and most emotional scenes in any historical epic. Joaquin Phoenix as Commodus is by far my favorite role of Joaquin Phoenix. People love him for the Joker, but for me Commodus will always be the best role of Joaquin Phoenix. Commodus is such an amazing villain, and his portrayal is kind of historically accurate too. He starts as kind of sympathetic man who desperately wants the approval of his father, Emperor Marcus Aurelius. He proceeds with murdering him to take over the power in Rome. While the part about murdering Marcus Aurelius is not historically accurate, it's very much something real-life Commodus, who had a god complex, could totally do. As the story progresses, you actually feel less and less sympathy for Commodus. He's a very interesting and complex character, but still very much a psychopath without any morals. And Joaquin Phoenix wonderfully captures this so well. Connie Nielsen as Commodus' sister Lucilla is great too. Lucilla obviously knows that her brother is a psychopath, but because of the position that she is in, she's forced to pretend to be on his side, although it's pretty obvious that she feels very terrible about it, and Connie Nielsen portrays it so wonderfully, and she so wonderfully brings her character to life. The character interactions are amazing. For example, when Maximus becomes Gladiator, he makes a friend with fellow slave Juba. Juba tells Maximus how he will likely never meet his wife and 2 daughters ever again, but he hopes that he will do so in the afterlife, and you can tell how much he's suffering. But Maximus immediately reveals that his pain is even greater, since his wife and son are already dead, and that he doesn't mind dying at this point. He just wants revenge on Commodus, and you can tell how much Juba feels sorry for Maximus and realizes that Maximus' pain is even bigger. And interactions between Maximus and Lucilla are great too. They used to be romantically involved in the past, but now Lucilla has a son, Lucius, while Maximus just lost his wife and son, but from their interactions it is obvious that deep down they still have very strong feelings for each other. And the conversation between Commodus and Marcus Aurelius is a scene in which you both feel sorry for Commodus, but also realize what a psychopath he really is. In some ways, Commodus and Marcus Aurelius serve as the exact opposites of each other. Marcus Aurelius is a noble Roman emperor, and he actually thinks about bringing Rome back to the people. He doesn't think that a big empire is worth much, and instead he believes in bringing Rome back to the people and turn it to democracy. Commodus, on the other hand, believes that the Roman Empire should remain as it always was, and he totally believes in the Roman Empire glory, and in addition to being a complete psychopath and having a god complex, he also, as a way to distract his evil from the people, he specifically brings back gladiator games as a way to entertain the audience and distract everyone from what a psychopath he really is. There is, for example, one scene when Commodus actually offers to sacrifice 100 bulls to his father as a way to celebrate their victory in war, but Marcus Aurelius tells him to save the bulls, and also that Maximus is the one that should be honored. The landscapes and cinematography is beautiful and gorgeous. The way the city of Rome is portrayed is so believable. I truly feel the majesty of the city, and it feels like I'm transported to a time of ancient Rome. Sometimes it literally feels almost as if the cast and crew went back in time and filmed the movie in the actual historical ancient Rome. Rome is also probably the most important city in European history with its huge historical significance. The battle scenes are excellent. The very first battle of the movie is Maximus as general fighting Germanic barbarians who invaded the Roman Empire, and the rest of the battles are gladiator battles on the arena. All those battles are excellent and so well done. And the final sword duel between Maximus and Emperor Commodus is still one of my favorite sword duels in a movie history. The music by Hans Zimmer is excellent. There are many different soundtracks to different scenes, and every soundtrack feels perfectly in line with the scene in which it's happening. For example, there is a soundtrack Elysium, which is a very haunting soundtrack and has a feeling of loss to it, perfectly consistent with Maximus losing his wife and son. Hans Zimmer, along with John Williams and Howard Shore, is one of the best composers of music in cinema history. Finally, let's talk about the main themes of the movie, because I really love the themes of Gladiator, and those are very universal themes that I feel are still relevant. And the main themes are duty and honor, loyalty, family, as well as revenge. And these themes are actually explored in many different ways throughout the whole movie. Duty and honor are connected in the way that they both involve doing what is right and what are you expected to do despite your personal feelings. Like Maximus having to abandon his wife and son in the past in order to serve the Roman Empire and Marcus Aurelius. And family is a main part of the film because this is what motivates Maximus' actions throughout the whole movie. He has a strong sense of duty towards his family and he will do anything for them. So, when his wife and son get killed by Commodus, he will stop at nothing to have his revenge. But this can also be contrasted with Marcus Aurelius and Commodus. Commodus believes that Marcus Aurelius' duty is to him as his son, but Marcus Aurelius realizes that his duty and priority is actually to the Roman Empire, and he is well aware that Commodus is a psychopath and he would not be a good emperor. Hence why he decides to bring Rome back to the people rather than make his son his successor, which also results in Commodus murdering his own father. Overall, Maximus and Commodus are the exact polar opposites of each other. Maximus is an honorable man who believes in duty and honor, and he also deeply loves his family and will do anything to protect them, including die for them. And once his wife and son get killed, he actually finds he has no more purpose other than to avenge his family, while Commodus is the exact opposite. He has no duty or honor, he's just a power-hungry psychopath who's willing to kill his own father just to take over the power in Rome. Overall, Gladiator is a phenomenal movie full of amazing themes, fantastic, incredible story, as well as an amazing, phenomenal cast. Gladiator is one of Ridley Scott's greatest movies ever and one of the best historical epics ever. Movies like Gladiator truly remind me of the awesome things that Hollywood used to be capable of. Not now, where they like to either milk franchises dry and most of cinema revolves around just superheroes and special effects. But at the same time, Gladiator and Kingdom of Heaven, both of Ridley Scott's historical epic masterpieces, make me even more hopeful and super excited for Napoleon. And also, this you should be watching video is the last video I'll make for the next few weeks, because I'm actually going to Boston for a week and a half. So yes, for at least a week and a half, that means no videos. But then, when I get back 2 days later, I'm actually going to Paris to visit my sister, niece and nephew. So that means no more videos for an additional few days. Although I will see Napoleon actually in Paris. Yeah, perfect place to see Napoleon actually, I think. And so my review of Napoleon will be a little delayed because of that. But I'll certainly do a video short of myself in Paris movie theater for Napoleon. But when I do get back from Paris, expect a Napoleon review immediately. And also, I think that this you should be watching video was a perfect thing to do before I go away to Boston first and then to Paris. But here was my you should be watching treatment for Gladiator. Epic, masterful, historical epic. I love Gladiator. One of Ridley Scott's best movies and one of the best historical epics ever. And thank you for checking out another video in the epic you should be watching series. Press the like button. Please subscribe this channel. And I will talk to you either when I get back from Boston or maybe even later when I get back from Paris and see Napoleon in Paris. But I will talk to you in like 2 weeks, I guess. Talk to you then in a Napoleon review. Bye.